And just like that, the 2025 MLB season for the New York Yankees is officially over. But what happened to this team? Why did it go so wrong in the ALDS? What's going on, guys? King of 161st Gen. I'm back with another video, and I'm here to answer all of those questions. Starting with the series itself. What went wrong in the ALDS versus the Toronto Blue Jays? The first thing that went wrong is our ace did not do ace things. In game 2, Max Fried was supposed to be a stopper. Yes, we can look at game 1 and we could say we had opportunities there. Judge didn't step up with the bases loaded, nobody out. We get all that. But in game 2, we needed at least one game in Toronto if we had any shot in this series. And Max Fried steps onto the mound and gives the Yankees jack shit. Doesn't give them length, gives them basically the biggest hole you can dig before they even had a shot to get into the game, which led to their rookie having a spectacular outing on the mound. We needed Max Fried to step up, and his historic playoff numbers, they came to light in this game. You cannot be the ace of this team. You cannot be known as the stopper and show up this poorly. Is it all on him? No. A large percentage of this series, players-wise, falls on his lap. Because if we're going into game 3, tied 1-1, going into that game 3 comeback, things look a lot different. And that's a game where the Yankees ended up scoring 7 runs. And I get it. That's the fallacy of the predetermined outcome. But the reason why I believe that so wholeheartedly is because even with Trey Savage looking like a stud, they took him out in the 5th, meaning they were going through that bullpen. And that was a bad bullpen day. If Max Fried gives us a little bit of a good start, may not have even had to be a quality start. He could have even given up 4 runs. We could have piled back. We could have fought back. He didn't. They passed it off to Will Warren. Will Warren still didn't look good. So we can't let Will Warren totally off the hook, but he's not supposed to be coming in this situation. If anything, it should have been Will Warren piggybacking off of the Luis Heel start. But good thing they didn't do that, because we were expecting Max Fried to be Max Fried. And Max Fried was not Max Fried on that day. And because of that, we couldn't even get the cycle back to him for him to get redemption. But if we went into Yankee Stadium tied at 1 and won that game 3, now we're up 2-1. Momentum is there. Things start going your way in that moment. The Blue Jays start to panic in that moment, and we would be playing today. I guarantee it. We would still be in the 2025 playoffs. We'd be having an entirely different conversation right now, trying to prepare for the Seattle Mariners. But with a lot of it on his back, Max Fried is one of the main reasons why we are sitting at home today. The starting pitching in general was not good in this series, but we can't put it all on them. The offense shit the bed as well in this series. If you look at this OPS of everyone in this postseason series, you have Aaron Judge, who had a 1500 OPS, finally dispelling everything about his postseason career, and the next best wasn't even 700. Someone needed to step up. Jazz tried with that game 3 homer, but then couldn't follow up with a good game 4. Anthony Volpe, him being a playoff riser, that is officially put to bed until next postseason. ALDS Volpe looked like jack shit. Cody Bellinger had a few hits, but all of them were insignificant outside of game 3, and he really looked out of sorts. Trent Grisham lost himself so much money playing the way he did. He looked out of sorts. He looked like he turned into a pumpkin. He looked like that Cinderella story from the 2025 regular season. It was over, done with. Turned into a pumpkin, back to being the shitty stepsister, and now is back to playing the way we thought Trent Grisham was prior to 2025. This offense, if they would have put up solid numbers in game 4, a lot of the situations we found ourselves in may not have popped up, because Cam Schlittler played his ass off. No matter what anyone wants to say, yes, his strikeout numbers were low. Yes, they were hitting the ball off of him, but he was still getting quick outs. He was still pitching with authority. He was putting balls in spots where he wanted them. In a 2-1 game, he had a double play ball right at Jazz, and that gets bobbled. That may not have been as important if the Yankees offense were to have stepped up, especially in game 4 where they had a bullpen game. Guys were coming in left and right. They had about 6 pitchers come in. And credit to them, most of them pitched well. But there were moments in this game where you had opportunities to step up. And nobody did, which made that error from Jazz even more heartbreaking. Because instead of it being a 1-run game going into that 9th inning, where the Yankees offense finally started to show life. Imagine if it was 2-1 and we get that run. It's then 2-2 and that stadium is bumping. That stadium is rocking. It would have been a tie game with runners in scoring position, having a chance to win that game and get back to Toronto. The offense shares a large part of the blame with Max Fried as well. Outside of Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is the sole reason why we made it to game 4. If you guys saw my short, I was in attendance at game 3. The amount of life Aaron Judge put into this fan base, along with that Jazz home run, along with that onslaught we then put on to win that game. I'm telling you, everyone in that stadium believed we were winning in 5. Every single person. That's how much life Aaron Judge injected into us. And Aaron Judge did everything he could. Nobody else stepped up behind him. So where does that leave us for 2026? Well, we have a few impending free agents. Paul Goldschmidt, Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Tim Hill, Cody Bellinger, who has officially declined the option and will become a free agent, Trent Grisham, and a few others. We'll talk about off-season signings, who we should re-sign later. Really here, I want to talk about some of the reasons why this season went awry over the course of 2025 and what needs to be fixed for 2026. Starting with set roles. I'm sorry, but playing Jazz Chisholm at third base for half the year after telling him he'd be a second baseman, that was a mistake. Having the battle between Grisham and Dominguez for all year, that was bad. We need these set roles, and we fixed a lot of these set roles as the year went on. Grisham won the starting job in the outfield. Jazz moved to second base full time. You had Ryan McMahon coming in as the primary third baseman. But we still had inklings of this, especially at that shortstop position, which is the next key to this season. The Yankees need to figure out what the fuck they're doing with Anthony Volpe. Because we can't be doing this back and forth of like, oh, we think he's going to be great someday, but oh, he sucks. So we need to bring in Jose Caballero to be our starting shortstop. Oh, wait, it's the postseason. Let's give Anthony Volpe another chance. Let's not play Jose Caballero, who actually outperformed him at the end of the year. We need to solidify who is playing where. With all this tit for tat, Paul Goldschmidt coming in sometimes, Ben Rice not playing sometimes, and it came up big in that wild card game that we lost. Having that platoon lineup, you can't rely on just playing platoon guys. You need to have set roles for these guys. That's part of why Jazz was so pissed, because he's a 30-30 guy. You think he got to 30-30, not hitting lefties at all? No, he hit lefties at an acceptable rate and smashed right-handed pitching. You can't platoon your way to a title. The Tampa Bay Rays proved that in 2020. You need guys who can perform in big situations, no matter who's on the fucking mound. So we need set roles. Jazz at second, McMahon at third, Ben Rice full-time at first base. With Grisham gone, we'll see if he comes back. If he comes back, he probably gets that starting job. If not, I'm giving that job to Dominguez unless you want to battle him and Jones out in spring training to see who wins that job. And if you do have that battle and Jones wins or Dominguez wins, that person is the starter until further notice. They have to lose that job, because this platoon back and forth, it doesn't help anybody. And I get it. There were certain situations this year that they couldn't avoid. Judge had that flexor strain, which caused him to have to play DH, which means you did have to somewhat platoon Giancarlo Stanton. I'm not putting that on Aaron Boone. That was just trying to make good of a terrible situation for the Yankees. But when that situation is resolved, which it should be after this offseason, this platoon situation, it has to be rare. It has to be in the regular season against a tough lefty. And then in the postseason, that stops. Full stop. You trust your stars to win in the postseason. The Dodgers are not sitting Shohei Ohtani against lefties. The Dodgers are not sitting Freddie Freeman against lefties. They're not sitting Mookie Betts against righties. They trust their stars to get it done when it matters most. You have to trust your guys. And finally, you just have to get a new culture in terms of hitting. James Rowson was a good hire when he was hired. He helped that Tigers offense turn into something, came into the New York system. We thought he'd work some things out. It hasn't worked. Yes, we are the number one offense, but that a lot of that has to do with just sheer talent on this team. Judge is going to help that immensely. Stanton having the second half of his year is going to help that immensely. Trent Grisham having his Cinderella year is going to help that tremendously. Jazz having 30-30 is going to help that tremendously. But there were situations that you saw that you would have thought a hitting coach could have helped with. And that main situation is Anthony Volpe. Now, am I saying you change the hitting coach and get a new guy in office for one guy? No. What I am saying is there are multiple guys in this lineup who have certain approaches that don't work fully at the end of the year come postseason time that we would have thought James Rowson would have worked with. Jazz didn't have the best postseason offensively. Yes, he had the home run, but he also had a 600 OPS. Swinging for the home run every time in the postseason is not going to work. Some of the best ABs I saw from Jazz this year was when he cut down, when he was able to take the ball the other way. I remember that game against Boston where he did that, and then hit a home run right after. When you're not chasing the home run, it comes. Jazz has such fast twitch fibers in his body that he can get home runs even when he's not trying. I would have thought James Rowson would have worked on that approach during the year. Obviously, Anthony Volpe. What approach is he going to take? What approach actually works? We don't know. Do we just need to continue to pump him with cortisone shots? I don't know. Is he going to get surgery now on that shoulder? Who knows? The hitting philosophy on this team needs a do-over. And that's where James Rowson's job might be in jeopardy. I'm not going to call for Boone's job anymore. I will say there are some fireable offenses now and then. I'm never calling for his job. We know firsthand he is here until his contract is up, and he has until his contract is up to win a championship. So really it's about what he can do to save that reputation. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think went wrong in 2025? Do you think it was the hitting philosophy? Was it not having set roles? Do you think it's something different? Let me know down below. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. The 2025 MLB regular season is over. 2025 Yankee season is over. But the King of 161st Street will still be here throughout the off season. So hit that sub button so you don't miss another video. I'm out of here. Take care and peace.